Welcome to another episode of Selling on Giants. Today, we're diving into the game-changing topic for all e-commerce brands, how to leverage AI to supercharge your email marketing. If you've been looking for ways to boost retention, increase revenue, and scale your marketing efforts with greater efficiency, then this episode is a must listen. We're excited to have Daniel Budai with us today. Daniel is the founder of Budai Media, a top retention marketing agency that has helped over 200 e-commerce brands generate more than $100 million in extra revenue. His team specializes in using AI to optimize email marketing, SMS, and loyalty programs, bringing cutting-edge strategies to the table. Stay tuned as Daniel shares actionable insights that you can implement to maximize growth and build deeper customer relationships using AI. Before we dive into the full interview with Daniel, I want to give you all a quick snapshot of what we'll be covering in today's episode. If you're an e-commerce brand looking to take your email marketing to the next level, you're in for some real value today. Daniel shares some game-changing insights into how AI is completely transforming the way we approach email marketing. We talk about everything from automating personalization and segmentation to optimizing the perfect send times so you can reach your customers when they're ready to engage. One of the key takeaways is how AI helps you really understand customer lifetime value and what you could do to maximize retention. He even touches on how AI is used for copywriting and email design, taking some of the heavy lifting off your plate without sacrificing quality. And of course, we also get into where all of this is heading and why it's important to adopt AI early to stay ahead of the competition. So, if you've been looking to step up your email game and see better results from your campaigns, this is an episode for you. And hey, if you find today's insights helpful, I'd love to hear your feedback. Leave a review and let me know what takeaways stood out to you the most. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the full interview with Daniel. Hey, Daniel, welcome to the show. I'm super excited to have you here to talk about email marketing. But before we jump into that, first, I'd like to get to know you a little better so our audience knows exactly who we're talking to and the level of expertise you have in this area. So, what are some of the experiences or influence that shaped your perspective on retention marketing, and how did that drive you to become a thought leader in the e-commerce space?
Yeah, thank you, Will. And I'm really excited to be here and talk about these really great topics today. So, I started my journey in marketing and first of all, copywriting back around 2017, 2018. And believe it or not, I used to be a geologist before. So, my past was really different. So I started as a copywriter and then email marketer, and then we just became more strategic. So nowadays we rather call it retention marketing. So we manage SMS marketing as well. We manage loyalty programs. So all the 9 yards. And in the past 2 years, I think, really revolutionized how we do things. And I have to tell you that I think the human aspect is still crucial. So it doesn't change the human psychology, AI. However, the implementation has changed a lot. And yeah, we are gonna talk about it today. But yeah, I think in the past 2 years, AI was one of those things that really shaped not just email marketing, but online marketing and
Oh,
marketing in general, and how we work as humans.
agreed. Yeah, how we work as humans for sure, and just like creativity almost, and a lot of that is all. It's amazing the progress AI has made in such a short period of time. It's going to be crazy what the next couple of years look like. But you
Yeah.
were a geologist, so uh, what prompted the transition from geology to marketing? That seems like a pretty drastic change in career.
Yeah. So I wasn't a geologist for a long time. So I finished my university studies around 2016. And then I wanted to work in the oil industry. And actually, that industry has ups and downs.
Mm.
And, back then the oil prices were down and I couldn't find a job. So I just looked around the internet. Okay, what could I do?
Oh.
I found this platform called Upwork, and I
Uh,
just started taking small gigs. And over time, I just got bigger and bigger gigs, and then I just, okay, what if I just become an entrepreneur? So it was step by step.
yeah.
And I didn't have big dreams about traveling to different continents. Or actually, this summer, we had 11 people visiting my country, so more than half of our team, and they came from 4 different continents. And
Wow.
we had crazy fun for 4 days. So, obviously, I didn't dream about these things back then. So, so yeah, I'm really grateful that
Yeah.
for marketing and that we
That
can work online. Yeah.
Yeah, the freedom of working online. That's amazing. Upwork cowboy to agency owner. It's quite the journey and very rewarding. Belovix is my agency, and it's a very rewarding experience being able to not only service the brands that we service, but also to build the team around our ideology and our values. And I think that is something that isn't talked about a lot in entrepreneurship. So that is really cool. And before we dive in, so what key insights have you gained from working with a wide range of e-commerce brands, and how have these insights shaped your leadership and vision for the future of Budai Media?
Yeah, great question. So in the past 6 years, we worked with, actually this year, we hit 200 clients, and
Wow.
we generated more than $100 million, mostly
Wow.
with email marketing. And we really worked across all kinds of different industries you can think of. So most of them, they are in fashion, beauty, skincare, home decor. But some of them are really exotic niches. Like we sold 3D printers. Now we have a client selling luxury saunas for $20,000. So
Wow.
and we sell it with SMS marketing. So it's just it's just so exotic, it's crazy. And it really tells me that email marketing, SMS marketing, it works for almost all industries. So probably the most universal marketing channel, because Meta ads, you cannot use it for everything, or Google ads, I think the same. So I think email marketing is something that works for really most industries. And the team is now around 20 people. Actually, partly because of AI, we became a smaller team. So our biggest size was 31 people
Wow.
2 years ago, and now we are 20. So
Nice.
we became more efficient, and there are less junior people in the team, actually. AI can really change that as well. And I see my notes in front of me, and I really like this sentence: everyone becomes a manager. And I think that's the number one about AI, that you have this tool and you have to become a manager to some level, because you have this tool, you can use it, and everyone will use it, your competition will use it. So you have to learn how to make up prompts, how to filter information, how to do research using AI, all of that. You want to know what's your objective. You must be really clear about that. You have to have clarity. Otherwise, AI will just scale up shit, as I say. So yeah, you just get a huge volume of worthless things, and yeah, AI
That's
can also do that.
well said. I love that insight too. Everyone is a manager now, and that is I've actually never heard that before, Daniel. That is truly insightful, and it's absolutely true. And it actually gets me more excited to jump into our main topic, maximizing e-commerce growth with AI, boost revenue and retention. So on that note, let's dive into the main topic. I don't think I can hold on anymore. So to start things off, can you give us a basic overview of how AI is transforming email marketing? Specifically, how does it impact key metrics like customer retention, lifetime
Mhm.
value, and overall sales for e-commerce brands?
Yeah, so let's dive into this. So, uh, as I said, I think the human psychology is still the same, and it's been the same for millions of years, or for a long time. So AI doesn't change that. I think we still need smart humans to come up with the strategy. That being said, it really helps us with implementation. And I like splitting this topic up to two categories. One is the creative, how we can come up with better creatives, and the other one is data and pattern recognition, how we can use it to interpret data smarter and more efficiently. So when it comes to creatives, we use it for copywriting, and I think tools even like ChatGPT, the most popular AI tool, it really revolutionized copywriting in the past 2 years. And just to telling, just one stat. So our copywriter team is it's half the size as it was 2 years ago.
Wow.
So it really changed the industry, and people, they have to adapt to it. How we use ChatGPT for copywriting research. So actually, the most amount of work in copywriting is not the writing part, but research,
Mm.
and that's the most important part of a good copy. I think the research part. You do your homework. You do very deep research about your audience and their pains and their headaches. And ChatGPT can help you a lot. Actually, now I talk to ChatGPT every day, like a half an hour, about different topics. Like today, when I was having my lunch, I talked to GPT about the most relevant wine grapes. So
Oh,
and it's just crazy. You don't have to Google things. And I can see young people now, they rather talk to GPT
yeah,
on their phones instead of using Google.
yeah.
So um, and then summarizing content, it's really good to summarize content. One example I really like, so you can upload your customer reviews, and you can ask GPT to build a customer avatar based on those reviews.
Oh, wow.
So we use it for most of our clients now. And you can come up with different avatars as well. And you can ask GPT to make it more real. So
Yeah.
let's create an image about this person. Let's give a real name. What's her dog's name? Or, it's very realistic. You can come up with fake personalities. And what I mean by that, so let's say you want to mimic the copywriting style of someone.
Hmm.
Let's say, a founder, e-commerce founder, and you are a ghostwriter. So you can just feed GPT with his or her previous writings, can
Mm.
upload it, and you can ask GPT to mimic that style. And it
Wow.
does a really good job. So that
So let
just
me
also,
actually break that down. That's pretty
yeah.
interesting because it's important, obviously, that your creative resonates with your ideal customer profile. So what you're saying, like a way that you're able to use AI through for creative specifically, the research takes the most time. And what you're able
Yeah.
to do essentially is kind of say, hey, ChatGPT, this is my avatar. Maybe here's a couple LinkedIn profiles. Here's some more information about my
Mhm.
avatar. Load that, and then you're able to kind of talk to it to be like, hey, help me write copy for an email that's going to resonate with my avatar and their major concerns about selling product in the
Yeah.
beauty space or
Yeah.
$20,000 saunas, and it's gonna actually spit back out copy that you'd be like, oh, it's pretty good, or like, I guess, what does the results look like? And then how do you mold those results so you get something that will resonate with your customer, but also you could be proud of as an agency?
Mhm. Yeah, so in general, the more information you provide, the better it becomes. So, if you go to ChatGPT, you ask to fake Elon Musk style, it will be really good. Or one of my friends did Andrew Tate, and he has a very distinctive style,
Yeah.
how he speaks. But most people, they don't have that. So you have to give enough information to
Mm.
feed it, and it won't be perfect. So I think that's why we still need humans to check the quality.
Mm.
Um, but many times you will be surprised by the results. Um, so that's how we use it for that. Yeah.
Do you do any, so you said creative and data summary are kind of the two verticals that you guys place
Hmm.
your how you're using AI at the moment. On the data side, how how are you doing that? Like, what do you mean by it summarizes data? Yes, but how are you doing it as it relates to informing maybe your email campaigns or how
Yeah.
well some of your AI creatives work? Like, how does this work together? And where does the data summarizing come in?
Yeah. So actually, the most common email tool we use is called Klaviyo. That's very
Mm,
popular for e-commerce
great tool.
businesses.
Yeah.
And there are a ton of inbuilt ways to use AI in Klaviyo. Just a couple examples. So, for example, you can see what's the best sending time of your emails.
Mm,
And I think not Klaviyo, but there are email tools where it can be different for everyone. So everyone has their preferred sending time. Like I read my emails at 9 a.m. Other people 6 p.m. maybe. So we
yeah.
receive the emails at different time. And Klaviyo and these tools, they recognize that these patterns. And
Wow.
it would be impossible to do it manually for 100,000
Oh
people.
yeah, impossible. Wow. So
Yeah.
Klaviyo is smart enough that if I'm in its database and it knows my behaviors, it
Mhm.
will automatically detect the best time to send me your email and it'll
Yeah.
send it out.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah. Or my other favorite is called predictive analytics, and
Mm.
it can predict different things. One very simple one, it can predict your gender, and it's very useful for fashion brands because
Oh,
there are different items for kids, female, male, and then how can you get that information? You ask people, but it creates extra friction, and many people they will just not reply. Most
yeah.
people. So actually, AI it's very smart. I think it's more than 99% accurate. And based on your email address and your name, it will know your gender. And that's it. So you can address people based on that. And there are other predictive analytics. It can also predict when you will buy next time. What's the
Oh,
most likely date that you will buy again? And it can launch an automation on that date. So
wow.
it will know that, okay, this is your purchase history. First of all, you need some data for this. So
Of
you
course, yeah.
have to buy at least 2, 3 times,
Mm.
um, ideally even more. But once you do, then Klaviyo will send you an email flow. It knows that you are most likely to buy on the 3rd of October. Maybe you get your salary on that day, or I don't know.
Uh,
And it sends you an email flow and it sends you the right products that you checked before on the site. So these are all automated and
wow.
pattern recognition and really smart.
That
It
is
all increases the conversion rate. Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, that's crazy smart. And what a great way to build lifetime value and even retention to some degree. Because, like, to your point, as long as I made a couple purchases, the system's smart enough to know at this point I mean, in the not too distant past, you had to actually track that or just put everybody in a bucket and just hope, spray and pray, that kind of thing. And now with AI and its ability to recognize patterns, it's able to put audiences in a silo essentially, and then
Mhm.
pepper them with ads with the most likelihood of
Yeah.
getting conversion. That is amazing. So on that note, so I understand how the creative side works, and I understand how we're using some of the data and functionality. If we can, let's tie this to the main topic. So what how does what we're doing impact retention and lifetime value? Like, what are specifically for you, if I'm an e-commerce brand in the beauty space, how would we work together? Like, what KPIs would I be looking at in terms of retention versus lifetime value? And then how do
Mhm.
we strategize around that?
Yeah, sure. So there are, I always say there are channel specific metrics and more like business higher level metrics. So for email or SMS marketing, open rates, click-through rate, all of these engagement metrics, unsubscribe rate, bounce rate. And if you send the right message to the right people at the right time, and AI can help you with that, then all of these metrics will get better.
Mm,
And then over time, these all affect your business level metrics, which is lifetime value and returning customer rate, your average order value. So
mm,
these higher level numbers, and it takes time to get those higher. But we use tools where we can see that. So, for example, TripOL or Nordbeam or even GA4 can help you to a certain extent.
Hmm.
But these tools, it will tell you what was the lifetime value in the past 6 months, past 30
Oh, I
days,
see.
past 1 year. And ideally, you want to see an increase in lifetime value, but also average order value, all of those basically.
Hmm. That's pretty interesting. From a timeline perspective, let's just say I start working with an agency. Like, generally, how long could somebody expect before they start to see improvements? Do you guys have
Mhm.
like a 90-day wind-up
Yeah.
window? Does it vary based on the maturity of the company?
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned 90 days, and actually we have that. So I just had a
Oh,
call with a potential client before this podcast, and I told her 90 days, and especially now in Q4, it's basically 1/4 of the
yeah,
year. So it totally makes sense. And of course, if you don't have any email marketing set up, then it takes few weeks to see results because you
yeah,
have nothing.
yeah.
But if you are a more mature company, like most of our clients, 8-figure clients, then 90 days, I think it's a good start. And and many times we don't see the lifetime value increase yet because it's a matured company with a lot of customers.
Yeah.
But we see the engagement metrics, the click rate is better because the email creatives are better. We do more segmentation. So first, open rate is better, click rate is better, there is less spam. And then over time, it really elevates your lifetime value, average order value, all of that. It takes more time.
Beautiful. That makes sense. On that note too, so when you're building these email lists, like if I'm a new brand, do you suggest that they buy email lists, do cold
Hmm.
email marketing? I know with
Yeah.
the larger companies they have a database, so it may not be as
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess when you work with a brand, do you do both? Like what does email marketing actually look like? Is it cold and
yeah.
warm or is it a mix of both?
Yeah, yeah, great question. And it's important to clarify. So I never suggest that you should buy a list
Okay.
because in the past we had clients where they did that and it never worked out.
Mm,
Actually, I just got messaged by someone that he has a list of 400,000 customers and none of them are subscribed to email. And he really wanted to email them because that's a huge asset.
yeah, that's a huge
And then I
list.
told him don't do it because it's just risky, especially
Yeah.
in Europe. So so in the end he will not do that. And I know it's really a bad feeling. It's a
Yeah.
huge list. He collected it for years, but yeah, they must be subscribers. And I don't recommend buying lists. Also, it's simply just not legal for most countries in most countries. But even if it is, then I don't see good results
Mm,
because it's very different when they subscribe and they give you their consent, they give you their email or even phone number, and they recognize your name or your
yeah.
brand's name in their inbox. It's really different.
What's this is really interesting. And to be all transparent, like Bellavix doesn't do any cold email marketing, so I'm just unfamiliar with it. What are the ramifications if I get caught doing cold emails? Like if I bought a list and I
Hmm.
used it, would
Yeah.
my domain get blacklisted? Would
Uh-huh.
would I actually get arrested if I was
Yeah.
in Europe? Like what's the drawback? What's the burn if
Yeah.
I, if
Yeah.
I touch the fire?
Yeah, yeah. So actually, I also send cold emails, but B2B cold emailing is legal in most countries. In Europe,
Oh, okay.
I think in Canada and Australia it's not, but these rules all change all the time. But in most countries, B2B is all right, B2C is not. So that's the
Oh,
big difference.
interesting.
Yeah. So if you are in B2B, you can do that in most countries. And yeah, but if you are B2C and you just email all kinds of regular people with your product, then I don't know the fines. I know for SMS, it's just huge in the US, like thousands of dollars per recipient, which is
Wow,
crazy.
that
If you,
is
if you send out 10,000, then, it's just
bankrupt.
huge.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I don't know about email, but it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Also, side note, I know there are lawyers, attorneys who actively look for these companies. They
Oh, wow.
subscribe or they look for ways to find these companies and then they just sue these companies. So
Wow.
yeah.
Get some of that blood. I get you. Boy, leave it to lawyers, man. That is pretty interesting and great insights too. So if you're a D2C brand, make sure that all the emails you get, they have subscribed and said, hey, it's okay for you to email me. And that's really important. So on that note, let's jump into the next question. What are some of the best ways to leverage AI for copywriting and email marketing, and how does it enhance personalization?
Wow, that's a great question. So yeah, as I said, AI is good at pattern recognition, finding patterns in the data. And I think we all remember those old days when the personalization was first name.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's right.
the software knew your name and it was a big thing. And actually we measured it. Now it decreases the conversion rate because
Really?
it's just overused and yeah, I don't think it adds too much to the content nowadays. But one example I like, so it can recognize your history and what products you visited on the website and purchased before. And when we send out 100,000 emails, every recipient will see different product recommendations.
Mm,
So that's based on AI and it knows your history.
wow.
And the more history you have, the more precise it will be. So if you buy a supplement from a brand and you are a buyer for 2 years, it will be really precise to know what you need and when.
Hmm.
Um, so that's just one example. And then I also mentioned earlier that it knows when you will buy, most likely, and you will get emails at that time, and it's fully automated.
Wow.
So I don't push any button. Um, so yeah, these are just a few examples how it can
Yeah, it's
personalize.
amazing. It sounds like the predictive analytics is really the advantage of using some of these AI systems.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess if I was a supplement brand, we'll keep on your example, and I'm considering using I guess what does the AI do differently that we're not doing as humans outside of the predictive analytics with like the actual copy? Is it super long? Is it you mentioned the first name may reduce
Mhm.
it? Does it change the closing? Like, I guess tell me a bit more about how it generates the copy and how it's different than like how a human would do it, if it's even different at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, let's say product recommendations are different. I think the biggest thing that moves the needle is, like 20 years ago, there were no email automations.
Yeah.
Only manually you hit the button, it went out, it was a blast campaign. And
Yeah.
then we started having automations. I don't know when because I wasn't around back then, like probably 15 years ago or 10 years ago, but it was a big change because automations are behavior based. So nobody has to be there and click a button to send the email, but the email goes out when somebody takes an action. And if it happens at 2 a.m., because you are in the US and I'm in Europe, you will still get the email at 2 a.m. And
Wow.
then we can see these automations, they generate more revenue per email than campaigns. And then now we have AI, it takes this whole thing to the next level that you don't have to push any buttons. The products will be personalized, the copy is more personalized, the design is
Wow.
more personalized. So simply AI automates things and you don't have to put in the work. Um, you could, but it's just not worth it because human labor is expensive compared to
Yeah.
AI. But
Yeah.
now
That's
AI can
true.
do all of these. And yeah, that changes everything. If you don't mind, I want to share something
Sure.
that we tested. Actually, we tested AI written copy against human copywriters.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, we had 15 tests, A/B tests, and 5 times the human copywriters won, and 10 times AI won. And
Wow.
these are senior copywriters, our best copywriters. So that's just something interesting. And another test for design, and this is my favorite. So we started working with a startup. It's called Boost.ai.
Okay.
Unfortunately, now they are out of business.
Happens.
So yeah, but we used to work with them, and what they do or did, so they can generate human models using AI, and you can use your products and put your T-shirt on them, or
Oh, cool.
these
Yeah.
models sit on your couch that you sell, or
Yeah.
chairs, whatever. And we A/B tested those AI generated models with the products against real models, and the brand did a photo shooting, and we
Yeah.
tested too. And we sent out two campaigns, and the AI generated models, they won
Wow.
each time. They got 30-40% higher click rates, and
Wow.
uh, and one of them generated more revenue as well. So that's just super interesting, and super interesting to see that people, they just buy more if they see a not real human, but an AI generated human in the
Yeah.
email.
I'm
So
willing to say most people probably can't even tell. We've been playing with some
yeah.
softwares that build videos off AI,
Uh-huh.
uh, AI, and some outside of the mouth not always lining up. I mean,
Hmm.
I personally have trouble telling the difference. I think we're
Yeah.
not too far away before, nobody can tell if it's a human or AI. So
Yeah.
really amazing. And if I understand correctly, so the AI powered email campaigns versus traditional, like human
Hmm.
generated,
Yeah.
had better open rates, had better click-through rates, and had better conversion rates across the board, across all your tests.
Yeah, and it's in front of me, and one, two, three, four, five, six, seven clients, seven
Wow.
different industries. So it doesn't depend on the industry or the country. Most of them, they are in the US.
Wow.
But especially the click-through rate was higher. Um, yeah, it's
So
just super interesting.
it is super interesting. And actually, I'm not surprised. Like what we know about marketing at the super high level, like personalization, intent-based marketing, like to your point, what you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier in the show, it's like catching people at the right time with the right messaging is going to lead to a sale. And it's almost not so crazy to believe like AI can recognize intent because of pattern recognition, and it can
Mhm.
also
Yeah.
personalize the messaging because it knows you, it knows your shopper, knows your avatar, it knows the business. So
Yeah.
I'm actually not as surprised. And I guess my next question for you would be like, how how should a brand consider leveraging this technology? Should everybody just sign up for Klaviyo and throw all their products on there? Is there
Hmm.
there's obviously more to this, but what advice would you give to an e-commerce brand that
Hmm.
is like, hey, we're not really doing email marketing, or I've grown my list to 500 subscribers. Like, how
Yeah.
should I start peppering them with ads? Sorry, with email
Yeah.
campaigns.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I don't recommend an email tool just because of AI, but of course it adds a lot to that. And I've been working with Klaviyo since 2017,
Mhm.
and back then I went to their conference in Boston, and it was roughly 100 people back then. And
Yeah,
now it's a huge company.
yeah.
Their evaluation is $10 billion now. So
Wow.
their growth has been huge, like the largest in the Shopify ecosystem out of any kind of apps. And I recommend Klaviyo to e-commerce business owners because it connects very well with most tools, especially Shopify. Shopify
Nice.
invested into this company, so it's
Mm.
everyone's interest to have very strong integrations. And then even before AI, Klaviyo was really strong on the data side. So they are in Boston next to Harvard and MIT.
Oh, there you go.
So, you know, I just trust these guys, and they never let me down in the past 7 years.
Wow.
And now they have some competition because they started raising prices.
Sure.
Um, but still, it's number one. And they just launched their data platform
Mm.
a couple months ago. So that's also something you can try if you have at least 100,000 subscribers. So
Oh,
more for
okay.
bigger businesses. But they are really strong on the data side from day one. And I think the competition is still not there where Klaviyo is. So
Beautiful.
that's how I
Fabulous.
see.
Top notch. That's amazing. So, should everybody be doing email marketing? Is this like a no-brainer across the
Mhm.
board?
Yeah, honestly, I'm yet to find a company who shouldn't do it. I mean, yeah, I mean there are companies who shouldn't do it. Sometimes I find those, but like 95%, 99, like almost everyone really should do email marketing. Yeah.
Beautiful. What are some of the basics? So if I'm getting started, what's like the most basic type of email campaign I would set up?
Hmm.
Let's say I'm using a tool like Klaviyo. Like if we were going to
Yeah.
work together, what's like the first thing we do?
Hmm.
Let's just say I don't have a large database. I'm a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
relatively small business.
Yeah, I would start with automations actually.
Hmm.
So just like as I said, they work 24/7, and you set them up only once and they will work forever. Actually, we have case studies where we had a client, a small business, like they make 500K a year,
Hmm.
and they didn't have the budget for an ongoing email management. So I
Hmm.
just told him, okay, let's just set up your automations. We leave them there, and you will see the results in a couple months. So we set up 3 automations. We set up the sign-up forms and pop-ups so
Hmm.
his email list could grow faster.
Oh.
Not just the customers subscribe, but visitors as well, they could. And then we attached the welcome flow to that. So we educated these subscribers. And then we set up an abandoned cart flow. And the third was, I think, a post-purchase flow for
Hmm.
customers. And we
Nice.
want them to buy again. So these 3. And then it was a small project. We set this up. It was a fashion brand. And actually, we let these automations work for 1 year. And it added 100K in revenue to this small
Wow.
business. So like 20%
I'd say
revenue.
20% increase. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And after 1 year, he came back and he became an ongoing client. So
I
he
would
could
too.
see the value. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And that's really interesting too. You hit a lot of points. So building and growing your list, having pop-ups on your website to not only capture email addresses for people who visited your site but didn't make a purchase. You had an educational drip campaign going on that's like why buy
Yeah.
our product, unique selling proposition. You had a post-purchase email sequence to build that average order value or increase lifetime value. And then what was the third one that you built out?
I think it was the post-purchase flow. The vacuum flow, the educational, and then the abandoned cart, and then the
Abandoned
third
cart.
was
That
the
was it.
yeah,
That's
abandoned cart. Yeah, that was the
abandoned
one.
cart.
Yeah,
Very cool. So if nothing else, if I'm getting started, we would want to do the abandoned cart. We'd want to do an educational series with
yeah,
pop-ups to capture email addresses, and then a post-purchase email sequence.
yeah, yeah.
In your opinion, what makes an effective post-purchase email sequence? Like
Hmm.
how do you solicit these shoppers
Hmm.
to buy again?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, this is the automation where it's good to know your audience and your products. And I will tell you why. So if you sell products that they sell quickly, like
Mhm.
supplements or even fast fashion, let's say, then somebody buys, and it's completely fine to send an email and tell them buy this another product. You can
Yeah.
add this to your previous purchase. But if they buy a, I don't know, $500 or $1,000 mattress, you don't want to do that. They will
Yeah.
not buy the mattress another mattress next day. So you want to nurture them and you want to educate them further, or maybe you want to upsell the pillows
Mm.
or do different things. Ask for a referral, for example. So it
Oh,
really matters what you sell. Yeah.
that's really smart too. I never thought about that. So if you're like a one-time purchase type company, like a mattress, once every 10 years, give or take.
Furniture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
furniture is another great one.
Yeah.
Your methodology is gonna be, hey, here's a complimentary product, like the pillows, which is a great suggestion. Or you're gonna say, hey, refer a friend and we'll kick you back $50 or something like that. And those
Yeah.
tend to
Yeah.
be the
Yeah.
most effective incentives. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, this was super helpful. I've learned a whole bunch about email marketing today. So, Daniel, thanks for sharing all that. I want to talk a little bit about Budai Media. So, like, if one of our listeners who's an e-commerce brand, this is really resonating, they're like, yeah, I need to get AI on my Shopify website so that I could get some of these automations in place. Could you first tell us like what's your unique approach to retention marketing and how do you
Mhm.
integrate AI across these different channels like SMS and your loyalty programs and
Yeah.
email marketing?
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, we have a ton of experience, as I said. So uh, more than 200 clients up to date, and more than 90% of them they achieve the goal that we set at the beginning of the
Nice.
90 days. We always set a goal with our new clients, so we have a very high success rate, and I think it's because of two reasons. One, we have as many team members as clients, so client team member ratio is 1 to 1. I
Hmm.
think that's rare in the agency space. And also, we are really strong on the process and data side. So we
Hmm.
measure everything, we keep our staff accountable for that, and we
Hmm.
keep clients accountable as well. So I think that's the key of our success. And sorry, what was your other question?
Oh no, this was great. So that was the key to success.
Yeah,
So you mentioned being process oriented and
yeah,
that
yeah.
you hold your team accountable, which is huge in agency world. You're only as good as your work. What does the first like 90 days look like if we decided to work together?
Hmm.
So let's go with the
Hmm.
beauty brand. I love beauty brands, and
Yeah.
I sign a contract. Like what does the first 90 days look like together?
Yeah. Typically, we start with an audit even before signing the contract. So we make an audit and we come up with the suggestions, what to work on first. And if you don't have your email flow set up properly yet, then we start with those email flows or automations. Because as I said, they generate the most revenue and they work 24/7. So they need a one-time setup. That's where we start. And it can take a couple of weeks to set those up. And once we have those, we continue with the campaigns.
Mm,
So, yeah, we continue the campaigns. We check your spam rate, how many emails going to spam. If too many, we adjust your strategy. We come up with a segmentation strategy.
mm.
Also, plan what to A/B test. We always work 1, 2 months in advance, so we don't like last minute changes. We try to prepare, always months, 1, 2 months in advance, and just really have a plan about everything. Yeah.
Beautiful. Sounds like very well thought out. Your team, when you work with the brand, do I have an account manager,
Mhm.
copywriter, data guy? Like, what's the
Yeah.
makeup? What's your team makeup with the service side?
Yeah. So on each account, we have 4 people working on,
Mm,
and we have an account manager who is basically a strategist,
hmm.
and this person connects the our team with the client's team, and we have a copywriter, we have an email designer, and we have someone who manages the software. So these 4 people work together. And also we give access to the client to all of these people. So not just they can talk not only to the account manager, but the whole team if they want.
Wow. Very cool. I like the process. I like the team you have servicing. It's great to have multiple members with different functions, which is great. Cool. On that note, before we jump into future of e-commerce, which is a tradition here, I got one more question for you. Could you share like a case study that you're most proud of, a
Mhm.
brand? The 20% is pretty impressive with the company you shared earlier. But do you have another vertical or another
Mhm.
story that you're very proud of that you could share with our audience?
Yeah, sure. So we have this Canadian home decor brand, and they sell worldwide, but mostly in North America. They sell high ticket lamps. That's
Oh,
their niche, and they are in the 8-figure revenue range.
nice.
And I really like these case studies when there is a more mature brand and they come to us. They already have solid revenue numbers, and
Yeah.
we can take them even further. So
Mm,
those are my favorite. And also it's just not easy. It's hard,
yeah.
because with new brands it's just easier. You set up the basics and it usually works. But here it's different. So when they came to us, they already had almost 40% of revenue from email marketing.
Wow. Wow,
And
that's significant if it's an eight-figure business. Yeah.
yeah, and then they didn't know how to get to the next level, or even there is a next level after this. And we could achieve 55% during Q4 and after 6 months of work. And we added SMS marketing and we added push notifications. We launched the loyalty program, and also we changed their email creatives. So we came up with better design, better copywriting, and that's the most time-consuming part,
Of
the
course, the
creatives.
creatives. Yeah.
You need very good designers and copywriters, and we help them with that as well. So that's how we could hit these numbers. And I would just highlight that it's not just about email marketing. You want to add these additional channels, SMS, loyalty program, push notifications, and these will all add up by time. You don't want to start with these as a small business, but once you are there at the 7, 8 figure level, you want to add these as well.
Beautiful. So if you're a small business and you're listening, start getting those phone numbers now. Just because you can't use them doesn't mean there's not a
Yeah,
future where you won't be using them.
yeah.
Beautiful. That was 8 figures too. That's amazing. And lamps, there's a lot of really successful furniture companies that are not very big brands that people don't know about, but they do really well. Awesome. Daniel, thanks for sharing all this information. Really great. I got some new perspective on email marketing, and I hope all our listeners enjoyed and they took away some key strategies that they can implement in terms of whether they're using Klaviyo or how they should think of AI in terms of email. But we also did talk a little bit about SMS and loyalty. Here on the show, we have a tradition, the future of e-commerce, and I like to ask all our thought leaders and experts who come on the show to pull out their crystal balls and tell me what they think the future of e-commerce and technology will be. So on that note, as technology continues to evolve, how do you see AI shaping the future of e-commerce, retention marketing over the next 2 to 3 years?
That's a really tough question.
I can do the next one if you want.
Yeah, so how it will, I think we mentioned creatives, we talked a lot about creatives, copy and design. I think the next one will be videos. So
Hmm.
these three areas, I think copy has changed the most, design is in the middle, and video is, you still need an editor and all of that. But
Yeah.
I think that will be the next thing that will be changed. And I'm really curious to see how it will change ad creatives and because you can use it for design, you don't need a photo shoot anymore, or not as frequently. Maybe in a couple of years we will not need editors.
Hmm.
So I can share an interesting story or talk that I had with someone from Spotify.
Oh,
He
cool.
doesn't work for Spotify, but he consulted with the Swedish Spotify, where Spotify is from. And he told me that in a couple of years we will not have podcasts because everything will be uploaded into the cloud. And you send me a request that you want to generate an interview with me, and it will be generated by AI using the cloud, basically, what's in the cloud. And that's it. So we don't have to meet, we don't have to spend time together. It will be automatically generated. And
Oh,
you just pay the royalty fee or the
wow.
rights, copyrights, and that's it. So let's see. That's just
Let's see for
food for
sure.
thought.
That's got to be said. I love the podcast. I like to meet interesting people like you. It would be sad
Me
if I
too.
just send a royalty check and I get the interview, but it would be very efficient. So I could see that. And well, I'm going to take your earlier comment where the creatives will learn to manage technology. And I think
Yeah,
right now we have a couple managers at our agency, like similar to yours. You either manage people or you manage processes. And what I'm seeing with AI and similar to what you mentioned, we're going to be managing technology as like
yeah.
the third level of management. So that was a really interesting take. And if it does happen in the next 2 to 3 years, you heard it here first. Thanks very much, Daniel. On that note, Daniel, I want to thank you for sharing your invaluable insights and expertise with us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Before we wrap up, could you let our listeners know where they can find you and if you have anything else you'd like to share about Budai Media or any upcoming projects?
Yeah, sure. So I didn't mention that besides retention marketing, email marketing, we also manage Google Ads of
Oh,
our e-commerce clients. So we launched this new service this year, and so far we had really good results.
Congrats.
So if you are interested, then feel free to reach out. Our website is thebudaimedia.com. And you can also find me on different social media channels, Daniel Budai, and I'm most active on YouTube. So I upload a video every week, and you can find educational videos on my YouTube channel as well.
Beautiful. Daniel, thanks for being here. For all listeners, in the show notes, I'll have Daniel's website, his LinkedIn profile, and his YouTube channel. And he does have a promotion on his website about emails, email tactics. I highly recommend you guys check that out and download some of those resources. We've already downloaded a few and we're starting to share them with our clients. Daniel, thanks again for being here. Appreciate your time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, and I wish a great day for everyone. Thank you.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. We hope you found these insights from Daniel valuable and now have a better understanding of how AI can revolutionize your email marketing strategies. From smarter segmentation to maximizing customer lifetime value, Daniel has given us some incredible tips that are sure to drive results for your e-commerce business. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow Selling on Giants for more actionable advice from industry leaders. And if you're ready to dive deeper into Daniel's work, be sure to check out Budai Media and their top 100 e-commerce email collection tips. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Stay classy, people.